whole fucking life, and here I am. No good as per fucking usual. Now, forgive me language, it's going to be peppered with Anglo-Saxon talk. See, my mum and dad, they were legal immigrants from Ireland before I was born. They had me here, and they had to learn English very quick, and my dad took to it like a duck to water. So the language is peppered with very fine, true English statements like, "Hello, you fucking cunts." As famously warned on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Poor Ant and Dec, they did not know what was coming. Funny. I'm trying to get over. I've got an infection in my head, so if I jump about from one thing to another, that's all right. The antibiotics are not working. It's nothing to do with the brandy. I hope you like the records we played before I came on. Right? That's a nice poppy selection of stuff that really was the influence behind punk. That's the stuff I grew up with, and I love and adore it. Right? And it's really important, because a lot of fucking modern muso-journalists would have you believe that it all comes out of New York. Fuck off, liars. Slade, Sweet, T-Rex, Dave Bowie. From north of the border, we got Frankie Miller, we got the Alex Harvey Band. I mean, a lot of fucking variety came out of this country. And without that, there really wouldn't be a Sex Pistols. So God bless all of them folk. Would you like to finish the show for me? I'm trying to find my way here, because honestly I've got a head full of mud and it's really fucking hard. And I know you mean well, but when you interfere, I lose my train of thought, because I'm a bit muddled at the moment. I'm not usually this bad. Yes, I fucking am. All right, let's begin when I was born. No, let's not. Let's go back to fucking music. All right? My mum and dad loved music. They bought records almost constantly. All right? My first introduction to music was a dance set. That's a very old record player that would play 8 singles in a row. And I, from a very early age, was allowed to be the DJ, and that's how I really got into music, was stacking the records that they would buy. And that was a terrific collection of early ska, going into reggae, rock and roll, of course the mod stuff, and all the modern pop stuff at that time. Really incredibly varied was Mum and Dad. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, they turned me on to the Kinks, which You Really Got Me. What a great fucking record for a 3-year-old to be hearing. It really fucking was, right? That's proper roots, lest we forget. It's important, because that's how I grew up. Was absolutely thrilled with music. I loved rock and roll. When they'd take us at the weekends to the seaside towns, because the old tannoy systems from World War II were still blaring out, and everything played on them was cackly, like radio announcers at railway stations in them days. Really filthy distortion. But that thrilled me as a kid. I loved that. My first set of speakers I ever bought were tannoys. A very fine British manufacturer, by the way. Loved them. God, the music. Cliff Richards was in there earlier. Come on, pretty baby, let's move it and a groove it. I think one of the finest rock and roll records ever made. And just it's a sheer pleasure to sit there again tonight and hear it. Very important record when I was young. Because my mum and dad, they loved that, and they took me to see my first ever concert. It was Cliff Richard's live. I couldn't have been 4, but I remember it. Not because of Cliff Richards, because he was a microdot about 2 miles away. It was at Finsbury Park Astoria, and we were up in the balcony. They had no PA systems then, 2 little rattle boxes. But the screaming of the girls! Fucking hell, you are hyenas and a half when you get together like that. And on my tender little ears, that was the most awful sound I've ever heard. Wah! For a fucking hour. Could have used you like in World War II. You should have been the frontline shock troops. Very impressed though, but the auditory senses of it all. And I suppose that gave me like a double bug of energy into liking this music stuff very, very, very much. And its potential for communication and how, yes folks, words do count, but they don't count half as much without the power of a proper fucking band. Well, they do actually. Loved it. See, you have to prompt me now, because I'm going off in bits, and this is what happens, right, with memories. And, well, I've had a tough year, no doubts about it, but, well, thank God for bedside tissues. Yes, I have a tissue issue. Well, I'm alone now, aren't I? No, what do you expect? I'm not one for the crybaby. I've done that, right? So just get over that, right? Because one of the fun things about doing these shows is meeting people beforehand. By God, I've got nothing to complain about looking at half of you lot. You know? God bless you. And I'm glad you find me a pole in which to dance around. That's fun with the electric wheelchair mob. My heart out to you, right? So don't ever think I'm standing here wallowing in self-pity, because I'm not. It's something that my mum and dad would never, ever have allowed in me. And you should never have that yourself, because when you feel sorry for yourself, you're arming your fucking enemies, and don't forget it. Don't do that. Right? Enjoy life to the absolute fucking final second and fight for every bit of it. Right? Unlike HMS Hood, this ship is not for fucking sinking. See, I told you I'm going to have problems with schnozzle. Did you catch that? It glistened. I had a Gary Glitter moment. Oh yeah, but my brain's there quickly. I've got to say, like, I don't know if we played it tonight. No, Gary Glitter, you know. Do you want to be in my gang? What a pity, right? Because some nights the audience don't grasp it, right? And you think, oh, I can't enjoy that because he's a child molester. Well, think before he was, and what he was then, and what he meant to us as kids. That stuff was fucking excellent to hear in the nightclub. Absolutely improved our lives. Alright? So, if, you know, the man's got bad in him, but if you want any chance of curing that, you have to know all about him, not just the nasty bits that the Sun newspaper like to bring up. Gary Glitter did a wonderful thing for me, not mostly me, my mum, and I will love him forever for it. I won't forgive him for his crimes, but I will love that side of his personality. Because my mum loved 2 bands that I liked when I was young. One was Alice Cooper. Yeah, Killer was her favourite album. Love It to Death, not so much. Well, because she had cancer at the time, and that wasn't a very cheerful fucking thing. But the other was Gary Glitter. So I took her to see Gary Glitter at the Finsbury Park Astoria, where I seen my first Cliff Richards gig, and she fucking loved it. And he was excellent as an entertainer. Man, could he move in that Baker foil outfit. Why did you interfere? I want to embarrass you now. I'm talking about me mummy, you know, I'm having a private moment. So please, can you flow with me and not against? It's important, because my mum was dying of cancer. She kind of knew it, but didn't want to face it. We all knew it, and definitely didn't want to face it. So I took her to this concert, and somehow or the other, because I never told anyone, Gary Glitter's people found out that she had cancer, and they came out just towards the end of the show and invited us backstage. Well, invited Mrs. Rotten backstage. Would I mind accompanying her? And that was the most fucking super thing for my mum. Right? She just couldn't believe that. So we went back, and I was playing fucking difficult punk rocker. I won't be impressed, but I was. His generosity was over fucking whelming to my mum, and it absolutely cheered her up no end. He was so kind and brilliant to her that she had the time of her life, because not only that, backstage, right, you know, we told him we don't drink champagne. Fucking soon learned how to. He goes, let me drive you to a nightclub I'm going to. It was Tramps. Right? Yeah. That was a club. There I was, Saucy Johnny Rotten. I was banned from that place without even bothering to breathe. Right? But in we go. He drives us there in a stretched limo Rolls Royce with a sunroof, which is not bad in the fucking winter. But we get there, we go in, and my mum had the time of her life. It was fucking lovely. The music, like just everything about it worked out great. And then she spots over in the corner Georgie Best, the world's best footballer ever. Yeah, all right, you lot. Don't hate him because he played for Manure. I once watched Georgie Best beat Arsenal 3-1, and the rest of the team didn't even show up. That's how good Georgie Best was. He was fucking excellent. But my mum spots him and goes, it's Georgie Best. And Mr. Glitter spots this, and he runs over and pulls Georgie Best over, who sat there next to my mum and for 45 minutes to an hour traded stories about Ireland, and made my mum feel so fucking good. So thank you, Mr. Gary Glitter. All right? Lucky me, my mum kept them distracted, because Gary would have certainly fancied my lovely body. So in future, if you don't want to be molested, bring your mum. But there are really bad molesters out there, aren't there? Right? I mean, they all are, but some are absolutely fucking worse. Rolf Harris, that deceitful tiny kangaroo down stuff. Huh? Don't be a fucking kangaroo. Jimmy Savile. Oh, hello, Jimmy. Is that a Tottenham Hotspurs outfit? What a piece of work. I get banned for decades from the BBC. They won't play my music, they won't touch me. I'm written off and threatened to be sued for daring to raise the issue that that is a fucking problem to children. There's two amazing things about this, and I feel sorry for you Tottenham Hotspur supporters. That's a tough one. You know, look, it's a cock on a ball. Giving the game away, innit? But seriously, look at it. The way he's pinching his fucking hot pants. How can you not know that that's a fucking dangerous fella? Huh? Seriously. Right? And notice too, there are no children on the streets. That's fucking rare in the 60s for a photo, I'll tell you. You know? I know. Right? Everything about them was gangs of kids running around, half of them with no shoes on. But you put Jimmy Savile on the street corner, cleared in minutes. Because we all knew. But nobody wanted to listen to us because we're just kids. Bastard. Apparently he had a penchant for dead bodies too. Yeah, morgue raider. Yes, lots of my Yorkshire friends have told me about that in great detail, and one last night really surprised me. Apparently, he even shagged his own mother's dead body. Apparently. Do you want to believe it or not? I think that fucker is vile enough to say, yeah, proof positive. So fuck you BBC, and all you fucking judgmental cunts. Being banned from them bad-minded bastards was a fucking privilege. And I still hate them to this day, as indeed I do most institutions. They're utterly corrupt. Do not let your young children be in the charge and care of institutions that sponsors that. Right? Whether it be the Boy Scouts, because let's face it, grown men in hot pants going dog dog do is not what you need children near. I could be wrong, I could be right. Well, that would take us to school. I could read and write by 5. My mum and dad noticed I had an interest in the shape of the letters on pages of newspaper, and I would wait for them to finish reading, and then I would trace around them and do whatever I did. And then they told me that every letter had a sound, and from that I learned very quickly how to form words and to write them. And I really fucking enjoyed that period in my life between 3.5 to 4.5. And I was writing my own things before I got to primary school. Most thrilling. But I had to learn quickly too, because in them days we didn't have toilet paper. We had the newspaper I was drawing on. And it was then cut up into squares like that, a hole and a string put through them, and that's what you'd wipe your bum on the outdoor toilet, because we never had an indoor one. We never had a bath either. In fact, no washing facilities other than a cast iron sink in the corner. No fridge, TV not until well late, and that's not moaning. That's how fucking a lot of us grew up. That's our white privilege for you, which the BBC keep telling me about. There wasn't any white privilege. Believe me, after you've wiped your backside with a piece of newspaper, you were a black bottom. And that outdoor toilet was a problem. Not in the daytime, because it's very friendly, all the neighbours, doors open, running around. But at night, because we were almost next door to 2 pubs adjoined to each other. So that crowd would come in late at night, you know, the dirty drunkards and the blowjob Dorises, and they'd be doing things out there that every young child should see. So we grew up using porcelain. Thank God for Stoker the Potters. I have something somewhere to bring memories back.
Potty!
Yes, I know. Now they stick them in gardens with dandelions, right? This was a gift from a good friend called Leggy, because he grew up in Sunderland. He knows that this was like that for them too, so he wrote on it, "Warning, warm piss rusts springs." Yes, it fucking does. In them early years, all the mattresses had iron springs in them. And those things would rust very, very quickly if any kind of steam or condensation got on them. Well, what do you think 2 adults and 3 kids pooing in one pot will amount to? A fucking big rust. And then a stabbing from the spring. So in the middle of the night, often you'd hear boing, 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 boing. That was a good sound. It meant no one got stabbed. I'll let you guess what stabbing sounded like. But that's it. And oftentimes, got to tell you, when I was young, my poor little bottom would fall in. That would be a real mess to clean up without an indoor bath. Here's my white privilege for you. Stoke's finest in pottery. Thank you. Now what the fuck was I going on about? School! Yes, first day in school. The head mistress, a bitch fucking from hell nun, called Sister Milus. With the S missing, you know, because she was a fucking snake and never smiled in her life. Hated us. Hated all little boys in particular. The girls kind of got off lighter. I wasn't lucky in any way, shape or form with her. Because the first question was, after the command of "sit down," as gentle as that, would be, "Can anybody write their name?" Then put it on the paper, I'll come round and collect. I not only wrote my name, I wrote fucking War and Peace from a 5-year-old's point of view. The address, everything about me. I was so chuffed and proud. Right, she got to me. "Is this you?" "Hold out your hand." "Ha ha, I'm going to get Cadbury's flake." Or Smarties, or a gift, you know. No. She pulled out a ruler, the sharp edge of it, and proceeded to slap the shit out of my tiny little hand until I couldn't move my fingers anymore. "Left-handed is a sign of the devil. We must whip the evil out of you until you learn to write with your right hand." That's my introduction to religion. Now you understand. When I write a song called Religion, every fucking word about those evil cunts I mean. These brides of Dracula. These nuns, these vicious fucking hounds from hell. Oh, they'd make Christopher Lee so happy. Every vampire should have a bundle of them around. So evil, so fucking nasty, so spiteful and vindictive and hateful. Just nothing you could do would be good enough for these cunts. And I use that Anglo-Saxon word very proudly. So I had to sit in the back of the class, didn't I, from there on in, facing the wall until I learned to write with my right hand. How do you tell a 5-year-old a thing like that? That everything they've grown up with, their entire nature and their honesty, is there, and that's suddenly fucking evil? Huh? Again, das ist Religion. Bitches. Well, of course I wasn't going to learn to write with my right hand. I didn't have no fucking idea of that concept. And believe me, even at 5, I knew what my right hand was for. Tissue issues. And it wasn't funny. So 2 years I spent like that, just staring at the wall, bringing books and just get on with it, basically, read and do whatever I wanted, but utterly negated from any kind of experience with other kids because I had the mark of the devil upon me. So, of course, other kids are like, Satan worshipper, and all of these chants that would go on. But the most wicked of all was, I don't even want to go there, it was so fucking wicked. But no school friends, right? For 2 years, wasn't allowed to be. If they ever did speak to me, they'd get fucking hammered too. So I understood that. It's a powerful thing to grow up at that age and realise, well, if they hate you that much, you can't be too fucking bad. The legend of Johnny Rotten began very early. The only real memory I have of any joy, actually, was out in the schoolyard. And it was freezing. The uniforms we had to wear, very short shorts, ankle socks, sandals, and this would be the winter outfit. You weren't allowed to wear longer pants. So all of us kids were freezing to fucking death, basically. But at least some of them could run around because, they had the concepts of friends and playing games with each other. Me, I just looked for this crevice between two walls of the church. Yes, it's a church-run school, this, if we can call it school. And I'd be in that corner because it would protect me from the wind. On your average November, bitter, twisted cold. Usually epics of snow falling down just to brighten the day for you. And I had a terrible stomach cramp. Unbelievable pain. And then, what I thought was a little fart turned into a vegetable korma. My first introduction to a curry, and it came out the wrong end very quick. It filled my pants, I couldn't stop it, and then it ran down, out of my shorts, down the back of my legs, into my ankle socks, and then out and through the sandals, through the gaps in the toes. And it was the warmest thing I've ever felt. And I kind of liked it. And I stood like that for a bit too long because with the cold, I ended up stuck to the brick wall. And playtime over, out comes the nun, because they only used the ruler in class. Out in the exercise yard, it was a fucking cane. And they loved to whip your little legs with that thing. And in the bitter cold, that was really spiteful and harsh. And so the whipping began. Get down, move on, you dirty boy, blah, 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 blah. Never noticed that I'd had an accident. And then a dinner lady spots this and she comes running over, grabs the cane and basically rescued me. I ran in and she rang a doctor and she rang the police. And I was rescued for the first time, I could say, and the only time in my long history with the police where they did me a fucking favour. So, thank you, religion, for that. Right? I don't have any other memories of being in that school. Right? Except at 7, I ended up with meningitis. That weren't no fun. That's an illness where the fluid in your spinal column seeps into your brain and gives you intense headaches. And they do recur. Every now and again, those headaches come back. And feelings of complete fatigue, you have no energy, you're exhausted mentally, and you cannot explain it. And then the hallucinations, and I'd be seeing vile dragons that at the end of the bed that wanted to claw me to death with these incredible incisors. And the other thing which is so weird is that I also knew there was another part inside my brain that was looking down at me, going through this agony and saying, it's not real. But I couldn't stop myself screaming. It's the strangest thing. It's been like that now all my life, that I'm looking down at myself, almost like I'm separate from me. So thank you, meningitis, for that, because it gave me an insight. You know, I'm not always in control of what the human's aspect of me does, but there must be something like a spirit there going, more brandy, you cunt. Slipped into a coma, rushed to hospital, woke up something like 3 months later from that. They didn't pull the plug on you in them days because they didn't have any electrical equipment to tie you up to. So they just waited till your heart stopped and then down to the morgue, and if you're really unlucky, Jimmy Savile will be waiting. Woke up, didn't know who I was. Had no fucking clue, had no idea. There was nothing I could relate to. All my memories of everything was erased. All I knew was that I couldn't move anything except my eyelids. And I was in a warm place, but I couldn't move, and nobody knew me, and I didn't know anybody. And I prayed they didn't notice me, because I felt I'd have been thrown out, and then what would happen to me? And that's how I came back into the world again. Okay? What do they call that, those fucking idiot Christians? Born again? Well, fuck off, it ain't no pleasure. Eh? 4 years it took for me to fully recover who I was. But during that first 8 months in hospital, because then they threw me out, these people would come to the edge of the bed and be wanting to touch my toes under the blankets, and it frightened the living daylights out of me. And it had that epic memory of dragons and claws. That was my mum and dad. I forgot my own mum and dad. And that, oh, you'd never forget that. Right? That will stay with me for the rest of my life. I forgot my own mum and dad. How beautiful of them to have not forgotten me. Right? And not allow me to be institutionalised. But the cunt sent me back to school. Well, of course, the torture carried on. Dummy dum dum, then was the chant. But I was feeling a bit stronger about it, because my mum had arranged that I'd ignore the school completely. And so, to re-educate myself, my mum brought me back to reading and writing slowly, but the local library was the place. And I have a love for libraries ever since, and books. They are so vital and important. A written word is not always a lie, you know, just the religious kind. Wonderful. They brought me back to art, they brought me back to reading, to writing, to finding myself. So the British library system, things they want to fuck about with, don't fuck about with that. Right? Because you're going to raise really stupid kids otherwise. Well, I'm 68, I still don't know how to use a cell phone. Achievement. Secondary school weren't much fucking better. Because of course the school report carries on, you know. I was apparently a moron and difficult to deal with, a problematic child. No, I was a sickly child, you fucking cunts. They could have, like, in some weird way offered some help or encouraged me. And well, maybe even noticed the fact that every exam I sat down to take, I passed with an A. I mean, you would have thought that meant something. No, left-handed. See? Right? They'd rather fucking, like, screw you on some biblical misinterpretation. Because I don't see anywhere in the Bible where it, like, tells you not to use your left hand, do you? Well, no, of course not. You wouldn't be reading it. So I could be right. But I'm not. I'm left fucking handed. Okay? Secondary school. Well, that was a joke. Like I said, just flew through it, ignoring them. But then they threw me out because I asked too many questions. So my favourite class was a man called Pistain's Prentice. He was a dapper kind of a fella, and he had just this peculiarity of clothing. He always wore the same suit, and it was a Prince of Wales check, but with a very short jacket. Like they used to call them bum freezers, the mods, but baggy pants. So it was, I suppose, like James Cagney, you know, like the Yankee Doodle Dandy kind of look, and he'd have a trilby and a dicky bow on. So very peculiar. Thank God I never found out how peculiar. But he was a brilliant teacher, absolutely fucking excellent, and language and literature became my favourite subjects. You know, and to learn that poetry wasn't just a sissy bunch of nonsense. It was a beautiful way of describing things in the most subtlest and delicate ways, or my style, like a smidge hammer. Fantastic. I learned poetic beats, rhythmics, sonorous rhythms, all of these things which paid in later to write those gloriously complicated Sex Pistols songs. Because they fucking well are if you think about it. Excellent. But he hated me. And a particular incident was when they moved the bus passes, free bus passes. So I was about 3 miles away from the school. Right? So I'd have to have a bus pass to get to school. But they changed the zoning. And so I wasn't going to get a bus pass anymore. So the only way to get to school would be on a bicycle. I was happy with that, except it's, you know, it's fucking England, it rains a lot, doesn't it? So my dad borrowed me his leather jacket. And my dad was a bit of a rocker, right? He liked the Teddy Boy stuff, but he liked the fucking leather jacket, because he was always like either doing a motorbike or a car. But he was quite happy to borrow me this jacket. Of course it was studded. But it kept the rain off. And I turned up late for school, you know, because traffic in the rain being what it is, and you can't get on the bus, etc. And his teacher turns on me and he goes, "What are you doing late in my class? It's raining. The traffic held me up, sir. Get out of my class. That's no excuse. We don't teach Hell's Angels here." So I stupidly said, "Don't you mean Hell's Bicycles?" Expelled for that remark. Fucking cunt. So then I went to work on the building sites and I loved it. Oh, fucking hell. Proper man's wages, right? Proper wages. And I bought every record I always wanted. You know, much in the vein of my mum and dad, I became an avid record collector. I fucking built myself a sound system that absolutely blew the neighbours away. They were cunts, they were called scholars. And all further expanded my wonderful love of music, and could save up enough to continue my education, which I did. So I bought my education from there on in. Again, white privilege, huh? Wonderful though, because all that set me up knowing, look, if the system's out to fuck you over, or the system's indifferent, it's still fucking you over, eh? And this isn't a sorry woe is me tale here tonight. This is something many of you fucking know is the truth and the reality of it all. Do we feel privileged?
No.
Well, you should do. I'm here, cunts. Audacity. So, yes, with all of that, it was only kind of correct and righteous in a weird way that an I Hate Pink Floyd t-shirt, my own design. Well, I bought a Pink Floyd t-shirt. I mean, isn't that a fucking accolade? The fact that I wrote I hate on top of it. Wow. Mr. Mason of Pink Floyd commended me on that. He thought that was very inspirational. He did. He did, and years later, this is the truth. Pink Floyd were playing in LA, and he rang me up, and he asked would I do some of the vocals on Dark Side of the Moon live. I ran for the fucking hills. I know that's pushing it too far. But I wish now, looking back at it, I wish I did. But in a weird way, do you understand how I felt kind of nervous about that? You know, insecure really. Which brings me to another insecure story. Once in a cab, me and Nora, I'm going to see my brother in Tottenham. To get there, you have to go through Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge has a store called Harrods on it, frequented by millionaires and Arabs. Very nice products come out of there. And some fucking vile footballers go in and out of there. And anyway, we're stuck in the traffic. And I hear John screaming at the top of their voices, a man and a woman. And I'm looking around and Nora spots them. She goes, "Oh my God, it's Paul and Linda McCartney." Straight at us. So I locked the door and I bent down and pretended not to be there. I couldn't cope with it. You know, I mean, that's my inherent shyness, right? I'm kind of accolading that that's a major person in music. But I hated so many Beatles records. It was, oh my God. I mean, that's the man that ruined Mulligan Tyre. And Jet, that live. Oh my God, Linda McCartney. Fucking lock that donkey up, huh? Her vegetarian curries that were found out to have pork fat dripping in them. Lovely stuff. So maybe I was right. But years later I met him and he came over and we had a laugh about it. He understood, and so we became all right with each other. And in a weird way, if I didn't behave as I would do instinctively, we might not be friends all these years later. Funny that, isn't it? Yeah. You know, always look on the bright side, because there might not be one. Where was I? Well, that was two asides. Yeah, Pistols, yes, I Hate Pink Floyd, that got them intrigued. Bernie Rhodes is the one that spotted me. He went on to become manager of the Clash. And we're still mates, Bernie and me. Even though he is a fucking communist. Now, you can flog that communist shit to middle-class fucking students, but when you've been brought up working class, that's a fucking no-no to me. I ain't no one's fucking slave to be put in different boxes. Fuck off, someone's got to clean the trash and it ain't gonna be me. They look down on us as fucking slaves, and they're imperious fucking political bullshit. Well, enough of that. Because let's face it, Bernie Rhodes went from Marxist communist to multi-millionaire manager very quickly. Wow, how his politics shifted. Or she did. Where was I? Yeah, got me into a rehearsal of sorts, which was first meeting there in a pub, but they were all being incredibly fucking sarcastic. Typical Steve Jones, ignorant fucking pig that he is. You're rotten, you are. Great, that's my nickname then, Rotten. What's yours, Tobalard? So he ended up with no nickname, just Steve Jones, because really you can't get more insultingly dumb than that, can you? Back to the shop, they had on the jukebox, I'm 18, my Alice Cooper and a couple of other things, and asked me to sing along with them, because these were songs I knew. But that was the first time I'd made any effort to sing in, I don't know, since whenever, never. Because let's go back to my school, shall we? Catholic schools. What's the first thing you do not do in a Catholic school? Is sing in tune. Because if you do, you're put straight into the choir, and then you have to deal with the priests. And we all know what the priests are about. Which reminds me, yes, as a little kid, fucking deliberately like, Ave Maria! Fucking set me up lovely years later, though. But how vile it is to be threatened with the choir. Not only are the nuns a fucking terror, but the priests on top. Now, you're this height, right? You're 5 and 6 years old, and they're all up here leering down at you. And they go, come closer. What do you think you're fucking smelling at that point? Seepage from nuns. Odour Brussels sprouts. Hot steaming puddings full of them. They never washed their lettuces, I can tell you that. There was no sanitary napkins going on up there. There was this odoriferous fucking sewer stink of fanny juices. And of course the priests always had the white stains. Yes, seepage is the word that I always connected with religion. Oh, it's the truth. So I avoided the choir. I avoided all of that. And then I am in this sex shop. Oh mate, hey, don't know what I want. Well, fucking hell, I was 16. I did know what I wanted. But I got through it, just by sheer audacity. And I don't know, I put on a kind of a performance, because I loved King Lear and like Shakespeare and all that stuff. And Laurence Olivier as Richard, oh fucking hell, magnificent ruination of a perfectly good play. Yeah, he's singing about it, content. Fucking great. So I pulled that out of my thought processes, and Malcolm loved it, the band hated me, and they didn't turn up for the first rehearsal, and I wrote a song about that in my last album called Liars, Cunts, Cheats and Frauds. Yeah, they didn't bother to tell me they weren't going to show, but then I got them to do a second time, and it took off from there, because I was instantly into the writing, which is something none of them could even fucking think about. Steve Jones couldn't read or write. That's a bad thing. It became a very bad thing when he was 40. It just shows it's not because he has a learning disability. Well, he's just a lazy fucking cunt. And you know who gave some of his first lessons in English? My lovely Nora. And she was learning English because she'd moved from Germany. So German had to teach this fucking pudding basic language. That's not great, is it? You know. So then you look at the words of the Pistol songs. How the fuck can Mr. Jones be claiming he had any fucking thing to do with it at all? Right? It's the lying that pisses me off. I'm happy to share the truth with anybody about anything, but I can't bared and trying to rewrite history and redirect it away from what did into what didn't. Mate. There's not so much green in it, so I must be getting better. Anybody want? No, you said yes. I've got better tissue issues than that. What a great band the Pistols was, and what a fucking excellent album the was. The fact that we didn't get on with each other made the songs more fucking determined and harder, rather than a bunch of pansies going, oh, that's good, yeah, oh, I agree, yeah. We're not fucking Radiohead. We're the Sex Pistols, and that's a tough fucking name to deal with at that time too. Sex? Ooh. What was our nearest competition? Oh yes, a play. Soho. No sex, please, we're British. What joy I took not going to that. And then that all fell apart because the jealousies from the management was pretty fucking hard to take. Because Malcolm fancied himself as a front man. And he was taking secret singing lessons from a city camp called Tony Brett, who went on a Today Show, actually, and she said, oh, yes, that Johnny Rotten had no talent at all, but Malcolm had a lovely singing voice. Yes, I'm sure he did. But let's face it, with Malcolm, he's never finished a damn single thing he's ever started. He's a complete coward and a wanker. God bless him, there's many good sides to him. But I'm glad to say I've seen the backside of him. You know, get out, you cunt. When he ran for mayor in London, I was asked to comment on that, and I told the truth. I said, he'll never go through with it. It's not his way, right? He just cannot commit and come up with the goods at the final moment. And indeed, he ran away from it. How can you run for mayor and not want to finish, huh? Think what I could have done as mayor of London. Can I be the new Nigel Farage, please? There's another back-out cunt, really. You know, careful of these fellas that you think are like standing up for something that we believe in, because they turn coat fuckers, like all of them. Remember, they all go to the same public schooly woolies, right? They've all played with each other's willies. They've got the dirt on each other, right? And that's the vice-like grip why the system doesn't change. It's all of them schoolboy pranksters. He asked me once, Nigel Farage, he said, oh, you must come to the Houses of Parliament and have tea and scones with me. It would be such a hoot. Yeah, on your fucking bike. Tea and scones with that bloke? Oh, come on. I mean, how fucking camp is that? You know? And then he has a show later called Pints, well, Pulling Pints. Well, I'd like to say he got the idea of pulling pints off me, because I told him, I don't fucking drink tea and scones. We're going to the Houses of Parliament, I'll have pints of fucking brandy, you cunt. And indeed, I used to, because I knew a cool girl, a working girl, who lived near Scotland Yard, actually, behind the back of Buckingham Palace. Her name was Linda. She's a lovely, lovely person. She'd love to show like how she'd fake wanks and blowjobs. You know, it's like, why are you wasting all that energy pretending? Because these MPs don't wash regularly. Yeah. But she'd take us in there late at night to the bar. You know, it'd be me, Sid, a couple of others. And we'd be late night drinking there. It was a penny a pint. A penny a pint. This is why the garbage strikes are going on all over England, right? Where London's piled fucking 20 foot high with garbage bags. And thank God, because they run out of black and grey ones, they had to use pink garbage bags, which became an excellent look for young punks with their get up and go look. So it's again, look on the bright side of something. It's all lovely good stuff. Which takes me to one of the biggest helps in my life, getting through the Pistols, was my lovely Nora. From the first minute. From the first minute we met, that woman came running at me. Ha! Everyone has told me not to talk to you. So she does. And you just gotta love that. I loved her spirit, her determination. And she thought I was like, very entertaining indeed. And so we decided to have a huge argument and both ended up giggling and really fucking instantaneously, right? And that went on forever until the poor thing died. Right? And that's hard, right? But her inspiration to me, she taught me like how to have a proper relationship, not just some fucking muck around the back of the bicycle sheds, you know? Just had to really care for each other. And to be honest and genuine, she just could not tell a lie. It just wasn't, there was no point to it. Why? You know? And the great stories of her life and how independent she was and how her first acid trip, which she didn't want to do, was an accident. Because she went to one of those midday hippie parties at the time in London, and Jimi Hendrix was there, and he dropped an acid in her tea, and that was her first trip. And she had to somehow deal with that hallucinogenic detail, get to her car, drive her car to the school to pick Ariana up, who was only a young kid, and got her home safely. So there you go, you know, when you hear Jimi Hendrix LSD far out trips, think of the evilness of fucking dropping that on a mother going to pick her child up. And did Nora resent him for that? No, she said, he just looked uglier when I was hallucinating than he did before. And Mr. Hendrix was a very sweet man, and you know, Nora helped promote him in Germany. She broke a lot of union laws at that time, because women in Germany after the war, they were not supposed to think for themselves. They were still following that, you know, it was still under them. But she ignored all that. She also decided to race cars at 17, and she became the first female driver to drive Porsches, race them against men. And of course they stopped that, they banned it. Because she fucking won too many, you know. So, yeah, there you go. Is that claiming equal rights? No, it's claiming common sense. Obviously, she can't go in a boxing ring, but she can fucking outrace the living daylights out of people. There are sports that we can share together. And she was good at it, and she was proud, and she promoted a lot of bands. And when she finally decided to move to England and we started living together, she said that she learned more English with me in the first 2 weeks than she had in all the schooling throughout her life. And guess what the principle that was based on? Episodes of Steptoe and Son. And Norman wisdom. Hey, there's nothing wrong with me. Norman wisdom I've used to describe, what is it I'm doing here? It's Norman wisdom does philosophy. Yeah, I know. Sounds laughable at first, but think about it. What's Norman Wisdom ever done wrong in any of his films? He's always been the most kind-hearted fella. All he was looking for was friendship, loyalty, love, all of those proper values, and all he was getting was shit on all the time for it. You know, a society sniggering, looking down at him. So in many ways, when I was young, I fucking empathised with Norman very, very much, particularly after meningitis. That helped me find myself as well, but it also helped Nora learn English. And then years later, when the Alzheimer's kicked in, had to find a way to keep her happy and alive. And British comedy came fucking gloriously to our rescue. We'd sit there, she wouldn't remember some of the episodes, but she remembered the ideas of them. And they absolutely had fits of laughter. And so she never had a chance to be sad or run down about her illness. But her personality was always vivacious and outgoing. But I'd like to think I helped her a bit more. She would scream with laughter at those shows. But our favourite comedy by far was that hideously stupid series called Most Haunted. She could not believe the stupidity of those fucking idiots. Stumbling around in the dark going, "Oh fuck, did you hear that? Fuck, no, fuck." If you'd all shut the fuck up, you might actually hear something. Nora found that brilliantly fun. Excellent. You know, they asked me once to go on that. Yeah. I loved the way Rambo, Mr. Manager, dealt with them. He said, because they said, "Oh, he'd be really frightened." And John's going, "You fucking joking?" No, he really will be frightened. So John twigged, "Oh, you want him to be frightened?" No, he will be, because, you know, ghosts are real. So John went, "Look, yep, Mr. Rotten's agreed to do this if you give him 2 crates of lager, a gram of speed, 4 packets of cigarettes, and set him up in the darkest dungeon you can find for 12 hours. They would not meet the challenge." But I miss Rambo like mad. See, I'm off on that tangent now, so yeah, let's deal with Johnny. There's another fucking kick in the teeth losing that fella. Wow, what a man. Again, like Nora's so honest, just, you know, the pair of them were just so honest to me all the time. I couldn't get away with a fib. And it's the Irish in me, you know, just likes to tell you a little bit of a story. No chance. Both of them would have a lovely phrase for me. "Get up, you lazy bastard," from Rambo. "Get up, you lazy bastards," from Nora. And sometimes they'd be doing that in unison. And I fucking miss it. Because they were putting the effort into making me a better person. And now I don't have those 2 support columns. It's fucking lonely up here. You understand that? Like, it's a bit hard. But thank you for coming and sharing a moment. Because I didn't know if I had the fucking energy or the capacity to continue. You may think I'm adorable, but there's all this going on too. By a waterfall, I'm calling. It is so hard to face up to being myself, but then I have to know that I've always been resilient, and I just luckily landed with 2 of the best support systems you could ever hope or expect in a lifetime. And now they're gone. And I don't believe in organised religion, because no person should get between your God, that what made you, and yourself. Religion are those crazy fucks who stand in the middle going, oh, well, God told me to tell you this. Go fuck off. No man speaks about my God to me. And my God, wherever you are, I believe just one basic truth: God is in yourself. Right? And that's the absolute truth of it. Mr. Rambo, manager of the fucking century, that fella. Hated in the industry. Absolutely loathed because he was so direct and incapable of listening to bullshit. I mean, this man was a paratrooper. He fought for England as a boxer while he was a paratrooper, but he was also a qualified jeweller. Now, if you can mix boxing fists with jewellery and make both of those things work, fucking stand up and I'll say hello, Rambo. No such fucking individual exists. And I had the privilege of calling that man my friend. He, Mr. Rambo, put together the butter campaign.
Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, yes, he did. That's something nobody else has ever put my way. You know, a successful campaign. No record company ever helped me out. No one in this fucking industry ever did me a favour. But somehow Johnny scores. Oh, there we are, learning to enjoy cricket, by the way. It's called 38 pints. You need them. That is one fucking dull game. Takes me to this meeting. You know, the corporate butter people and their lawyers, and we've got this great idea. And I'm thinking, how the fuck can I get out of this? Rambo fucking pushing me into it. So I go, tell him I don't work with scripts. And he goes, right. And he goes over to their lawyers, and half an hour later, they all come back into the room and go, that's a great idea, yes. Rambo's explained to us what a brilliant improviser you are. So there'll be no scripts and a shitload of money. What? How'd you get away with that, Rambo? Well, he goes, well, you'll see. Yes, I fucking did. 2 weeks later, we're in a field in Oxfordshire. And it's like, you know, just dawn. There's all these huge bright lights on this field. There's about 200 people. There's a catering corps, clothes division, 8 fucking huge cameras and all the extras of people you could imagine. And 40 cows at the top of the field. And me. And they go, right, we know there'll be no script, so you won't be needing any ideas from us. We're ready to roll on the count of 1, 2. What the fuck am I going to do? Well, I had to think old Norman Wisdom things, you know, and British comedy had to come out of me somehow. You know, oh my God, you're in a fucking impossible situation. What do? You don't run away, you run at it. So up the field I go, high speed. Now, also in the back of my mind, I'm bearing that, well, my mum's family in Ireland, they had cows and they were really fucking nice. And because I never had mother's milk when I was young, see, because my mum was too ill. So it would be cow milk. So many a time I was caught on the farm having a go at the tit. I like my milk fresh. And so I had kind of a loving relationship with the cows. You know, moo, Johnny. Up I go. No, this lot aren't fucking behaving friendly to me. They get moody and they decide to fucking herd at me at full speed. Yes, these were fucking English cows. And they chase me. So there's this scene of me running across the field at high speed, looking ridiculous. That's fear, right? That's not acting. That's how I look when I'm fearful. And 40 fucking horned cunts chasing me. And I dive over the fence, and the director on his megaphone goes, "Cut! Brilliant. How did you come up with that?" And Rambo goes, "Told you could do it." I could have been fucking stampeded to death, but now you come to think of it, that might be good viewing too. You know, I kind of have a knack and a luck of getting away with dangerous situations, but there you go. The butter campaign worked, we improvised all the scenes that followed, and it was a hoot, and with that money, I was able to buy my way out of the record deals, the record companies that were so oppressive and catch-22 to me. If I earned a penny, they'd take it straight away kind of situation. Impossible debts to fulfill, but I managed to buy out of that and had enough to reform Pill, set up her own label and start rehearsals immediately. Thank you, Johnny fucking Rambo, man. What a hero. So I've been blessed with good people in my life. And that, unfortunately, includes you lot. Well, it does, and it's not unfortunate, because you've been loyal with me. You've put up with a lot. You have. I mean, I've had 18 years in the wilderness, you know. That's longer than Jesus running around India, isn't it? And you've never fucking forgot me. You've not let the business crush me down. You believed in me. Believe me, that is such a fucking powerful emotion. I'm so proud of you for that. You're And just as an aside, I'd like to get back to my lovely Nora quickly here. So you understand something really serious about her childhood and what she had to go through. Nora was born in 1938. Her mother is what they called, that's Nora, an exotic dancer. Right? And she danced her kind of scarfy thing in 1930s Berlin. So if any of you have seen the film Oh Cabaret, fuck Lisa Minnelli, that's the real deal, right? That's someone who actually was a part of that. And her father ran a newspaper. And of course, being what Germany was then, had to promote Nazi values. But Nora's mother was Jewish. And so he kept that quiet, her father. Look at that beautiful woman. How could you want to exterminate beautiful creatures like that? Because of your fucking bad-minded politics. So, and I've seen it wrote about me that I'm a fucking Nazi. Now, I really do want to kill a cunt that can call me that. Right? That's the most evil fucking backwards nonsense you could think of. No. And I'm anti the anti-Nazi League too, because they're opinioning the same fucking values of intolerance. So I tolerate no intolerance. I'm open-minded and I despise the judgmental. Unless Julie's up. Because the honesty there goes back to Jim will fix it. Right? I really haven't been hearing too many stories of what kind of fixing that cunt was up to, other than it being noncing off young kids and dead bodies. So, on that pleasant note, I would like to take a break, if you don't mind, because the diarrhea is kicking in now. And I haven't got any Imodium. Has anybody? Oh, no, what a thing to ask for on a Sunday night. Well, it's not such a bad thing to ask for, is it? Every Sunday night after 12 pints, you need a diarrhea pill or two. Selfish cunts, you've all got your own stack. I'd like to leave you with a couple of songs in the interim that I hope you fucking enjoy. Again, it's back to me youth. It's two records that really mattered to me. The first is The Gin You're Playing by Roxy Music. Loved that to death. I first heard that on the building site, and that absolutely spun my head and made me want to write music at that time. It was so original. Now, there's 2 a penny versions of it, but put your head back into that period. It's stunning. And the other is by a man who I think brought back dancing between young boys and girls. His name was Mark Bolan. And his records were excellent. Fuck you in your box. But before I do, because the song is about messages, and I'd like you, because I'm here to communicate with you tonight. See this? There's a pen on top. You have to bring your own paper around here. Write a question or put your name on it, and I'll talk to you. I'll answer it as honestly as I possibly can. And that's what the second half will be, a Q&A. And hopefully that's the part where we all settle down and be all right with each other. So put your messages of contempt or love or whatever in there for me. The song by the lovely Mark Bolan and T-Rex is Telegram Sam. Stuff when I was young. Pleasant little ditties like that. Hey, that's the sweet. Aren't they fucking adorable? And to be told years later, I've been influenced by the New York dolls who are nothing more than the sweet in second-hand drag on heroin. Fucking get it right. It's Q&A time. Now, you have to bear with me, I'm really fucking sweaty because I've been like heaving a bit. I'm fighting an infection, but I wouldn't fucking let myself or you down by retiring. So I should be adorning my throne. This throne has a story, right? Just in case you think I'm getting out of the tram, which is possible. This throne goes back to an early Pill gig. We were on tour in France, and we had to share an auditorium with a theatrical group of French types, thespians. And in their part of the building, they were doing a French interpretation of Shakespeare. Henry was going to get mullered by the French in revenge for Agincourt. So I stole their fucking throne And they had to finish the job with the English king sitting on a canteen stool. I saved Shakespeare from the French. Thank you. And the end result is I took this home and I've had it ever since. And we're like thinking about this show, I looked across the room and went, hang on, that ain't a bad bit, is it? It looks better from a distance. Oh, you agree? Oh, you can't. Anyway, I look good on it. Hello, my name's John. It's Q&A time. Listen to that. So, let's hope you've filled up some sensible questions.
So we're going to call out your names.
Hot stuff. This is Andy, who helped put this together at Mr. Rambo before Mr. Rambo's aorta exploded and he drowned in his own blood. Sorry, these details matter. But thank you, Andy. For fucking nothing. 44 gigs in 48 days, you cruel fucking cunts. And of course I catch every fucking illness known to mankind, because I'm Johnny, aren't I, the rat catcher? So the first question is...
So we'll call your name and then you can stand up and you can ask John directly. So where's Jen G? Where's Jen G?
Hi Johnny.
Hello.
Hello. So my question was, when we're looking at some of the actors that you mentioned before, like Laurence Olivier, things like that, now Richard Harris is a late great that we know. He actually said the difference between him...
Yeah, you're mumbling at the end of your sentences and it's going to get very difficult for me. Some more words you're forgetting to pronounce.
Sorry Johnny, can you hear me now, love?
That's it.
That's better. So, Richard Harris said the difference between him and modern actors was a bottle of vodka. Apart from the obvious, what sets you apart from modern musicians?
Well, I know Susie and the Banshees used to like her fucking vodka. She also loved spin dryers. There's a lovely little story about her. And Jeanette Lee of Peel fame. When Jeanette used to live on Sutherland Avenue, it's like Maida Vale way. I had just a little flat, but moved in across the road with Susie of the Banshees, and she came over and asked Jeanette to come round if she wanted any of her clothes washed and dried. 3 hours later, Jeanette came back and said they'd spent a wonderful evening sitting on the spin dryer. So it's one man's tickle is another man's poison, I suppose, and I don't judge people by whether they're big drinkers or not. It depends on the personality. Some people can really handle their booze very, very well, and it doesn't have much effect. Others can handle their drugs very well. And then there's things like heroin, where you think you can handle it, but you really seriously can't. It's handling you, and it's making you dependent on it. And that's not fucking very good at all. It's very self-deceptive, is heroin too. And it lets you believe that you're doing good, because it hides your fears and phobias. But let me tell you, the fucking making of anybody that gets up on the stage and does any kind of thing like this at all, fucking appreciate them, because it's fear that drives us, right? And conquering that fear is what gets us through it. No, I have to open my own bottle.
I've got Tony from Sunderland. Where's Tony?
Oh, Sunderland is a long way off, isn't it? Hello.
Hello. Many years ago, I heard you want to talk sport on the radio.
There is no way of hearing that from up here. Could you come down a little? Right? And keep yelling all the way, and we'll tell you when you reach the correct distance. Not really.
Can you hear me now?
maybe a little better. Come on, Tony from Sunderland. Hello, sir. Say hello to Tony.
I heard you on Talk Sport Radio, and you were talking about Arsenal. It was a bit of a phone-in sort of thing. And I just wondered, because you were very good and very knowledgeable, and the people you were talking to after you finished the call were saying how good you were. And I was just wondering, have you ever thought about being on maybe a panel or a team on the radio? Like,
oh, are you fucking joking? What do they call them, those sports opinionators these days? I would never consider sitting with a panel of Gary Linekers on any subject. I, of course, was very good. But on the other hand, there's only one fella I like in all of that, and that's Ian Wright. Because he's solid. He's what he is. He was a genuinely fucking great footballer. He's a genuinely great fella. Bingo, you know? The third count we'll leave out. Well, he did play for Crystal Palace. He's a very loyal friend, right? And I'll love him forever. He's proper Arsenal in that respect. We don't hate or have enemies, because we're better than that. After seeing Jimmy Savile in that Tottenham outfit, they'll never be a problem to me ever again. Peace, sir.
Where's Randy B? Randy B.
John, you're right, you leave it back in, mate?
Yeah, but it's incoherent. You're back even further than Sunderland Tony. You're doing a good job of projecting, alright? So, okay, if you can keep that tempo up and still make it listenable, I'm with you. Are you in band?
Kind of, yeah, used to be a long time ago. Stand-up comedian by trade, so thanks for the stuff about the comedy.
Where's this leading?
Sorry, distracted. You wrote a song with Bill called Penge. Now, being from the mighty Penge, I just want to know where the inspiration came from.
You are from Penge?
SC20 born and bred, mate.
Oh, fucking ain't that brilliant. Penge, because I like the sound of the name. It sounds to me like something well Anglo-Saxon, like a Celtic, the tinge in it. And I was reading a lot of the Vikings at the time. I think it was to do with that TV series, you know, where they stole all my original hairdos. And I liked the sound of Penge. And then I looked it up and I found out that Penge had apparently quilt making or weaving or some kind of thing there. It's a circle of old ladies that do croquet. That's it. And I just decided I was dealing with other subjects. And Viking raiding parties was one of them, and also the corruption of the church, oddly enough. And I combined all these things into an eminent Viking raid where the parents had just one choice: to let their kids be in the safety of the druid priests or face the wrath of the Vikings. So it was choice A, Viking mass murder, or choice B, druids, the earliest forms of priests. Not very good choices, were they? And so that's what the song is about. Is that facing an imminent disaster, what do you do? I think you should arm your kids to the teeth and fucking fight to the death to the last second and teach the Viking Rangers a fucking lesson about messing with your kids. And that's Penge. Thank you, and you're a stand-up comedian now.
Trying to be, yeah.
How am I doing?
Better than everyone I've booked in the last couple of weeks.
Sorry, I missed that. If it wasn't praise.
No, it was definitely praise, John. Definitely praise.
Pardon?
It was definitely praise. You're doing fucking amazing Sam, down
I must come to Penge more often.
I wouldn't recommend it, it's a shithole.
There is that. It's a town you never stop at. It's kind of, you go through to get from one place to another. So there you go. But let's hope in a bit of luck I've put Penge on the map.
How indeed, thank you for that.
Yeah, so you could retire there. I mean, later years ago, Johnny Rotten made me do it.
What's going on next poster?
Don't forget the croquet.
Have we got Brian Mack? Brian Mack.
Yeah, over here. Can you hear me okay, Johnny? I've got to come further down.
I'm trying to see where you are, because they do put lights in my eyes. Ah, there you are. Oh, I like the red light. Fuck, look at the harem tent effect. With pretentious moi at the top.
Hello, John. You're right.
Hello.
It's a question about television. It's not going to work if you don't watch
I
much
never had
television.
one till I was 11, so.
Correct. Obviously, is there a difference between UK and US TV? And what do you set out to do when you're on television? Do you think you push the boundaries enough, or can it go further?
If I did it accidentally.
Yeah.
I mostly like pushed into it because of pure nastiness and fucking suppositions thrown at me. I mean, I wouldn't have brought up Jimmy Savile if the BBC weren't out to fucking like hammer me.
Yeah.
The fucking nonsense they were pulling on me, telling me my songs threatened British family values. So I thought, well, that's a fucking stroke from these Jimmy Savile cunts. So, you know, I took it my Sex Pistol and fired both fucking barrels.
And the other question really was...
But it's many other things. Is American TV different than England? No, you know, it's all the same fucking shows now.
Yeah.
Right? It's become one generic hodgepodge of... The only real difference, I suppose, is the Antiques Roadshow here actually has antiques. The American version is really just kind of 60s hot dog stand stuff. Because that's as far back as they can go.
The use of Anglo-Saxon wordage on television, do you think it could go further? Or
yeah, how did
where
people tell us what words we can and can't use?
Yeah.
And at the time, by the way, all these words were glaringly fucking spelt out in the English Oxford Dictionary.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I've heard fuck on Coronation Street, you know.
Of course you have. I mean, you look at Celebrity Countdown now.
Yeah.
You know? And all those shows are like, really, they're getting away with that. What? It shouldn't be anything to get away with. They're fucking great words if they're used in the right places.
Do you think they're overused?
You know, it's like, well, by morons and idiots, but they'd be using silly words in the wrong places anyway, no matter what the words are. It's like an example of when I was on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and they made a promise to me that they'd tell me that Nora arrived safely. Right?
Yeah.
And they broke that promise, and the promise was based on the fact that we were booked on the Pan Am Lockerbie flight, one that was blown out the fucking sky. And the reason we missed that flight was Nora was too late packing her bag. Alright? And for that reason I never rushed her the rest of her life. But that was a serious promise to make to us. And Nora couldn't fly out there with me at the start because we were looking after Ariana's children at the time. So we had to set up a situation which luckily my brother Martin could take care of. But I mean, she flew out a week later. Now, would they tell me that she'd landed safely? No, they would not. And as the weeks went by, I got more and more fucking angry with this. You know, so there's your aunt and Dec coming up going, oh, great news, John. Oh, the audience has voted you back on for another week. So I looked in the camera and went, you fucking cunts. And it wasn't me just being naughty words. I'm in fucking turmoil here internally. This program is trying to profiteer off my fucking fears and doubts about losing my loved one again. Why are they not telling me? Yeah. You know? Where's that gonna like run your mind?
Yeah.
You know? So I couldn't spend any evenings wanking under the blanket. I'll never forgive them. So when I walked, I fucking walked.
Oh yeah.
On them, right? And I think I did it with great fuck you style. Yeah? But the biggest surprise of all was when I got up into their area, we'll call it that. Up on a big screen is my dad. What? Their fucking dad's doing an interview. Shit. You never know what that crazy cunt's going to say. He's a Lydon. Like father, like son, right? Oh. So what does he say? He goes, "Why did you walk out, Johnny? I had money on you, you cunt." And he wasn't joking, he fucking bet it on me. And he would have won. You know, but that's so how we are as Lydons. He's saying that and he really means it, but at the same time, he sees the fucking fun in saying it.
I understand.
And there you go. I mean, I was brought up by my dad quite well, I think, right? And I love that repartee with him. But fuck, man, you know, you can't be fucking cheesing anybody off about their wife.
Thanks very much, John.
You cannot do that. And so, yeah, there's a difference. Yeah, thanks.
See you, man.
Have we got Steve Stringer? Where's Steve Stringer?
Hiya, John.
Hold on, these two are late for their bus. They're not trying. I see, I guess right. Okay, lads. Well, thank you for coming, all right? Yeah, peace and love. And if you don't believe in that, you peace off.
Okay, the question is, did you know the Pistols were going to split before you went on stage at Winterland?
We were going to split. Yeah, we weren't talking at all. At all, right? And that might have been alright, but the fact was that they didn't make any fucking effort on stage to even fucking help the lead singer out by playing the fucking bars correctly. And as a singer, you need those drop-ins. And if it's just a lazy ass bleh, right, it makes you look stupid. But secondly, it makes the whole fucking band look stupid. It's an act of suicide. Only contemplated by people that are fucking morons or jealous cunts. I think both of those applications apply. Wicked, wicked stupid. So yeah, at the end of the show, I stood there and said, "Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?" Alright? And that's not just for the audience. That's how I felt with them cunts. And after the show, there was a party backstage, right? You know, the promoter, the big name American ass promoter, and like all the celeb friends that San Francisco could gather. And the Sex Pistols are in there with Malcolm. And Sid's off to some drug rehab. And so I attempt to go in and I'm told, no, I'm not allowed. Alright? So that was it. That was it, final. Done with them. I'm not allowed into my own gigs, fucking backstage party. And I never worked with that big name promoter ever again, or had anything to do with any of the cunts that went into that party. I'm pretty damn resilient about that. And I carry, it's not a hatred, it's just a fond memory of who arseholes truly are. And once you've spotted them, don't fucking let them back in again. Peace.
Have we got Tracy J? Where's Tracy J?
Cool, you're all coming from exactly the same road. It's a conspiracy. Tracy, it's going to be very difficult. Maybe you can make your way down. Talk all the way, by all means. No, not yet. No!
You living the dream yet?
Living the dream. I heard that. Hello, dear.
What's the biggest regret that you've ever had?
Fuck, I suppose that hasn't come yet, being fair. It will be the day I have to face my own death. I won't want that. Because I do love life so very much. Bad things that go on in it and everything else. And so many near-death experiences that it's amazing that I'm alive and I love it. And I know my lovely Nora would want me to like finish well and go out fast. It was very, very hard to deal with her last few years. In fact, the last day was the hardest thing I've ever faced in my life. You see, she didn't die easy. She fought so hard. I was so proud, but at the same time, just died inside for her, watching her slowly fade, and she went into, I think they call it a death rattle. The short breaths, it's really hard to deal with, and that went on for a long time, and she'd come out, and then I had to call the ambulance and face this, and see what could be done. And they came, and they resuscitated her a few times, but her heart kept stopping. But there was one time where she was cognizant for about 5 to 10 minutes, and she was breathing again quite normally, and she was, her term for me always was Johnny's. And she's gripping my hand, and I heard her finger break. She was gripping me so tight, she snapped her finger. And she didn't feel any pain. She just felt love and calling me Johnsies. And you can't call that a regret. I don't know what the benefit of that experience is, but there has to be a point to it somewhere in my life. And I suppose it's the way she fought and clung on to life so exuberantly that I absolutely admired her for that. There's a famous Oscar Wilde quote, which I loved this. It was on his deathbed, in absolute squalor in a French hotel, a few friends there, helping him face his last moments, and it's one of the bravest statements I think I've ever heard from a human being. He looks up and he goes, "This wallpaper is awful. One of us has to go." Huh? That's fucking brave. Ah.
Have we got Lindsay from Manchester? Lindsay.
Yeah. So my question was, I was wondering, do you ever get pissed off whenever you've spoken about in press or at the media or whatever? They always reference the Sex Pistols group.
Well, so they should. I'm the songwriter.
You are.
You know, that's how I approach it. But there's much more. But it's also done in a contemptible way. They're trying to be contemptuous. Right? The filth and fury, the filthy lucre. Well, there's so much more going on, but that's all right. Right? Let them cunts and arseholes get stuck in that mud.
They're still sort of expecting you at what, 6 December?
Well, they were expecting and hoping and praying that I'd make a cunt of myself by now. Well, it ain't fucking happened, is it? And I'm only 68 years young.
They're expecting you to be like, you know, the man you was as a late teenager.
Yeah,
and they don't accept that people evolve.
Well, listen, we all come from tougher stock than these modern fucking wannabe cunts, right? We don't surrender easy. We're relentless. And unlike the Duracell bunny, we will continue.
Thank you.
So, you know, be careful of your Duracells if your vibrates up. Maybe get a solar-powered one.
We've got Martin from Huddersfield. That's the guy.
Hello.
Hiya, Joe.
Oh, big bad things are coming out of my shoulders. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
That lives.
I bought the first pill record when I was only 13. I moved to America. And
You mean you're younger than me? Oh, there's not much of that slug life then, is there?
Anyway,
Come on.
yeah, I ordered 85 things for it. When you got down, I put it on, and I went to America. How did you get on with the people in America?
I've been there a long while before then.
Did you like living in there?
Yes, I did. I did because the reason I moved to America was police harassment. And my place or wherever I went would be raided at least twice that week. So I got fed the fuck up with it. And so what do? I thought I could move to Dublin in Ireland and got arrested within 20 minutes for attacking two policemen's fists with my face. And with a success rate like that, I thought, fuck it. You know, I spent some time in Mountjoy because of that. Yeah, oh, what a fun palace. Whoa. I loved the showers in the afternoon, hosed me down, bollock naked in the exercise yard, you know, hoping that would make me feel humiliated. No, just a little more here, sir. You know what I mean? When they go for you, go fucking back full on. And the film, the first night in Mountjoy was, hilarious. It was the Dead on Arrival film. Oh dear, that's the one with Jordan with a swastika, you know, fucking bleached rhino. Very nice girl, by the way. But it's not the kind of film you want to be watching with 800 to 2,000 IRA prisoners. Right? It can be seriously compromising. And so, but they wanted that to be a challenge, right? They wanted me to like feel fucking scared or humiliated. I didn't. I went the other way, and it kind of backfired. That the rest of the prisoners just thought, "Fucking hell, you've got it tough here. We're with you." So it's kind of that's how life is. If you stick it out and you stand up for yourself, good people will fucking have trust in you. Yeah? Or you could be a wanker and snivel and require private seclusion. Yeah, go fuck off. I'm John, you know. If you want to see me take a shit, fucking come look. Because I'm the best shit in town. So peace, my friend. Thank you. 5p, yeah, you got your money's worth.
Where's Ryan?
Me. Is it true that Sid Vicious apparently had a scrap with Freddie Mercury? There's something
No, I've read that. What a load of fucking nonsense. How on earth is that? It's one of them YouTube fake things just put up for I don't know whatever reason, but anyone and everyone who knew Sid knew that he couldn't fight his way out of a crisp bag. I mean, that was the beauty and nature and fun of Sid, that he was an absurd, humorous character, and yet they wanted to somehow turn him into a truly vicious, like, nasty person. Let me tell you how Sid got his name. I had a pet hamster called Sid. And Sid comes round, but his name at the time was John Ritchie. And he's well into his Bowie period. And so he's painting his fingernails black because he's got a touch of Mark Bolan going on in there too. But when he puts his finger into the friendliest hamster in the world, now this poor hamster thought that was a blackberry and took a great big fucking chunk out of it. And he screams, your hamster's vicious! Sid Vicious, the legend was born. That's the truth. And I loved him. He was a fucking proper stand-up comedian. He'd take the piss out of anyone and anything all day long, without the slightest comprehension of just how fucking absurd he was himself. I loved calling people spotty muldoons, and yet he was the spottiest fucking face ever. I mean, he put fucking smallpox to shame. Just how brilliant though, right? Coat hanger was another nickname for him at the time, because he loved fashion or thought he knew everything about it. A classic example of this was one day we walking out the approved school we both got sent to. That's where we met. Right? And it's a magazine rack, and he goes, oh, the latest edition of Vogue magazine. That's how in touch, out of touch Sid was. And you've got to love a fella like that, because he was utterly fucking fearless with it. And indeed, of all the people in my life that I love and respect the most, they may not be big successes at anything, but they utterly fucking know who they are, internally and externally. And don't let no one put them to fucking shame for it. So peace and love. I hope there's more than a few of you in here. Thanks for the question. I like the way it jumps my mind into other things.
Where's B?
Hello, B.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you, well, as you can see, I'm 28, and, you know, I was brought up in a very different musical background than most people here, I think. My question is, do you look at the music, like, landscape these days, and do you see anything that you find interesting at all?
In what?
Exactly.
I like all music. I have no prejudices whatsoever, except the shit I don't like. Which happens to be, oddly enough, it's the one form of music I can't stand. Like, shame on me, I don't think so. But if you were to put on New Orleans traditional jazz, I think I would have to murder you. I can't bear it. I don't know why. It's just so, fuck off. And yet one of my all-time favourite albums, which of course nothing to do with New Orleans jazz, is Captain Beefheart's Trout Mask Replica, which has been voted one of the worst albums ever made. It's a challenging piece of work, but there is genius in it somehow. But New Orleans traditional, that sounds like a French traffic jam. Beep, beep, honk, honk. No, fuck off. Did that help you at all?
The last one goes to Sam. Where's Sam?
Hello, John.
Hello. Theme tune to the Vikings from Penge.
Done my cardio for the week now.
Hello, sir.
Hiya. You've got to remember the question now.
Yeah.
If you had a signature stick of Blackpool Rock, what would it be? What would your name be?
What?
The signature stick of Blackpool Rock. I know it's a bit daft, I don't know why you picked me.
What would my signature theme be in a piece of Blackpool Rock?
Yeah. If you had a quote for it.
Anal plunge. I don't fucking know. Listen, you couldn't put rotten there, could you? That's rotten. That'd be too honest. But somebody did give us a piece of Blackpool rock tonight. It's a bit hard, seeing as I don't feel too well. But I have got a lot of seepage going on, and that might come in handy if I come in full-size.
I think
one piece of rock can have many applications. Is that too much information?
No, that was lovely. That's exactly what I wanted. Cheers, John.
Cheers, sir. Well, it's been an evening. I've had broken too many hearts. It's been difficult for me to get through this one tonight. It was difficult to get through all of them, to be honest, right? Because I didn't think I was in the right state of mind when this tour began to deal with it at all. I said I was two of the most sturdiest pillars in my life was my lovely wife and my best friend Rambo. And I'm still here, so, you know, thank you. Thank you for the hard work. And thank you for fucking putting up with me. And just remember this. I truly will never fucking lie to you. It is not going to happen. So peace and love, my friends. And I would like to leave you with a record which I think fully encompasses family values, British style. Now you might like to sing along karaoke style. It's called Anarchy in the UK.